They said, but we were waiting for your answer. I said, well, you only sent it to me on Monday, and you got it on Friday. Yeah, well, we had to wait all that time. I said, but surely you could have got on with something else. And they said, no. If you look at the accepted practice analysis, okay, do the analysis, and then we do the design. And until we get that question, we could not possibly start with the design. So they were just blindly following this plan that says you do the analysis before the design. And they made, apparently, the whole project team wait doing nothing for this week. Responding to change over following a plan. It also fits into customer collaboration. We didn't pay the money, we just sent it back. But this idea of blindly following what's written on a piece of paper, absolutely ridiculous. Use your common sense. Gesunde Menschenverständnis. You have to have the ability to say this isn't right this time, this doesn't fit. For a little packet we'll analyse it before we do the design maybe, but we don't have to wait until everything is done. We see a similar thing with requirements definition process. First of all, elicit requirements and then write them down. It doesn't mean you have to elicit all requirements before you are allowed to write anything down. This is sort of a flow of information, and blindly following these things leads us into trouble. So he's coming towards a summary now. While there is value in the items on the right, we value items on the left more. It's not, shall we have documentation or not? It's getting the right amount of documentation. It's not, shall we follow a plan or not? Shall we ignore these things or follow it blindly? That isn't the idea. I work with a director at the Royal Bank of Scotland in London, and I heard the term today, agilistas. He meets people who have joined a group of where they have fundamentally, I'm trying to think in English now, they have a fundamental belief beyond all reason in the religion of Agile. And these are dangerous people. These are fundamentalists who don't understand the word over, only instead of. So, I said I had 8 slides. I was about 40 minutes on the first one. Any project managers in here? We're doing well. So, here we go. That's slide number 3, okay? Of course we value individuals, but we do not throw away the processes. Sometimes we need to follow a process strictly, particularly in safety-critical environments. We have to tailor this to fit the situation that we are in. Of course we want working software, and we could spend all our lives analysing and designing and never quite get to coding anything. We could spend all of our times talking to people but never produce anything, and that isn't what we want. We need the mixture of get it out in early releases. More and more releases, iterative, incremental development. You might think it's difficult to do that for a satellite, but you're not going to send up parts of a satellite, you're going to build it on the Earth and actually prototype the parts of it. It's still possible. It's not just for internet websites that we can do this. These principles are good principles to follow, and it's not if you're agile or not, it's just you should make the right decisions. Customer collaboration over contract negotiations. Some of the best projects I've worked on have been built on trust. And often we have a tick list to say, well, this is one mark to the customer, they made a mistake, this is another one. On the supplier, They've made 1, 2, 3 mistakes really. At the end we'll balance it all out. But let's not negotiate over every single piece. Let's collaborate and make together as a team this project work. Responding to change over following a plan. I could have told you many, many examples of this. 2 years ago I told you about the extension we're building on our house. Well, we're still building it, okay? And sometimes they blindly followed the plan. They laid a nice path. So, but don't you need electrics into the house? Oh yes, we'll dig the path up, okay? But the plan said to lay the path. Yeah, but the sensible thing is to put the services in first. So don't just blindly follow the plan. So, while there is value in the things on the right, and sometimes there's more value than others. I've worked a lot with tools like case tools and requirements management tools. And you hear about software and middleware, but there's also a term in English called shelfware, where people write these things and put it on the shelf. I said, why have you created that document? Well, because the process told me to. Do you ever use it? Yeah, it holds my coffee stable over there. So we value individuals. And when I hear people saying, are you agile or not? Are they really saying, do you value individuals or do you not value them? Do people have no value at all to you? Okay, then you're not agile. Okay. It isn't that. I'm trying to get the point across that it really is common sense. So we come to the summary, which is, I think, my last slide. I've got some points. You see, I don't just do yellow. I do orange as well. Emmanuel Choron, I don't know if you're still here, from Dräger Medical Systems. I loved it. He said Scrum also uses the V model. Very quickly, you do know the V model. My plan was to fold that over, but I made a very agile change on the way. In German, is it der, die, or das, or den, V model? V-Modell. Das V-Modell. Some years ago, people say, aber was ist mit das V-Modell, Herward? It's probably der V-Modell in den Satz. What about the V model? And I said, which one? Das V-Modell. Okay? I know about 20. Which one are you talking about? So, we basically have requirements here and some sort of tests or confirmation, verification and validation here. So we have requirements of various levels here. And I was giving a presentation, and it was based on the information model of things like Lastenheft, customer specification, Pflichtenheft, systems requirement specification, all of these things. I'm sorry to use you again. I think somebody was sitting next to Jan Ebert, and they said, do the hood groups still use the V model? Yes, we do, okay? Because you've got to be able to prove these things against some sort of specification.